I agree. Folks, we come to tonight's special preview of the level up video for the Schemers Table. As we all are aware, we're doing a fun thing here in Armon where leveling up happens at your discretion. At a certain point in the campaign, I put the reins in your hands about when there is a satisfying moment for your character to gain their new suite of abilities. Within that context, you guys get to actually sort of think through and talk through what you're aiming for with your character. If you're continuing in your current class, if you're multi-classing, for those of you who are achieving 4th level of your soul character class, you have an ASI or a feat to choose from. For the folks at home, ASI is ability score improvement. If you may have made it far without knowing what the hell an ASI is.
It's tire pressure, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want an ASI under 32 for most mid-sized sedans. What we're looking at here today are the choices that you guys are making that we don't have to lock in until an appropriate moment. You actually can sort of have 1 or 2 directions that you want to go, and you can decide. Now, if you have one that you know you're locked into, that's all hunky-dory as well. So we'll begin diving into mechanically what you guys are interested in doing. I'll start over here, Liam. What have we got in mind for Hal at 4th level?
And we say it here. This is where we say
it here. You say, and again, you're not locked into anything. It doesn't even need to be one of these. If we get in the shit and you go, wait a minute, I don't want to become level 4 and I want to take the chef feat because that is what makes sense in this narrative. We are here to tell a story, and it makes sense for me to be a chef. That's great. But I think there's an interesting. To the degree that we use mechanics to tell stories here, which we always aspire to do, it's almost thinking about like different directions your character could go in, shaped as they are by the unfolding events in Ahriman. So I'm not just looking for like your mechanical optimization, although Lord knows I love to hear that as well. That was me pushing my glasses.
Yes, I recognize that.
But I also love to hear what it means narratively, what it symbolizes in your character's journey. What have you got your eye on?
I'm locked in, baby.
Locked in!
Last campaign for Orem, I had a tree that existed like 2 years in advance with options at different levels. I don't have that. But I know what I'm doing now. Out of necessity, his skill, which has been his career, his life, and now lives depend on it. I am going to be boosting Hal Fang's charisma from an 18 to a 20.
Ooh, an ASI. Let's go, baby.
Nice.
It's a roll. It's a number that will be involved in the vast majority of what this character is attempting to do in his story. So I think that is a mechanically sound choice. It also feels appropriate given ascending to the position that he is. You're about to take Kotheri to the public, open the hallowed round.
Going up against that woman with her plus 12 insight hurt me. To future proof.
Yeah.
I invite everybody to look at what these like CR12 big humanoid people have. There's usually like a plus 12, if not a plus 13 somewhere on there.
Yeah.
It gets nasty. And I know that people around here have thrown around numbers like that as well. With that being said, I think charisma it makes a lot of sense. There are other choices that you make because we have a full stack. Though we have some half casters, we are an all casters table, and actually, you've only got one level of martial.
Kind of a full
caster. Yeah. So
a big deal.
Yeah, kind of a big deal. So I've heard. So for our purposes, the question I'm interested in finding out here is. Do you have spells in mind that you will add to your repertoire? Are there some you're juggling between? What are you looking at?
I'm pretty sure. So we're just putting all cards on the table right now?
Just maybe 2.
We're not saving surprises?
We can save surprise. If you'd prefer to keep it as a surprise, you absolutely can. How about this? If you want it, maybe we don't get specific with the actual name of the spell, but you can tell us the narrative directions you're looking in for what you want his magic to manifest.
I get to pick 2 spells, a cantrip and a level 2 this time around. I'll tell you what one is, and I'll just hint at the other. I'm taking True Strike.
Lovely.
because it's pretty good in 2024.
Yeah.
And a scimitar, the liar's blade is dex, and my dex is okay, but my charisma is great.
Hell yeah.
Especially once I level up. So I think that it makes sense for him now, years after being a soldier and put all that behind him, taking up his brother's sword, he is inspired to wield it more fiercely.
Hell yes.
And then the other spell, which I'll wait on, is tied to communication.
Lovely. I think that's great. I think that's wonderful. Marisha, what are we looking at level 4 for Murray?
So I will also be doing an ASI. I'm going to be splitting those points, though, so I will be taking my intelligence from a 19 to a 20.
Ooh, lovely.
Gonna max it out.
Yes.
And then I'm gonna take my strength from an 11 to a 12 to give me a +1 to strength, because Marie's good to have in a bar fight. That's what I always wanted with her. So we are leaving my dex that little dump stat, baby. I'm a believer in a bad stat.
I believe we're in a bad stat.
Those hips don't lie.
And in terms of spells, wizards get another cantrip and then 2 spells.
Wizards are nice. The bee's knees.
Yes. Which is honestly almost mean, because I want to take them all and I don't know what to take. I have a pretty good idea for my cantrip. I'm looking pretty heavily at Blade Ward, because once again they have fixed it.
Cool.
And it would just give me a little bit more defensibility.
What does Blade Ward do now in 2024?
So now, in the year of our Lord 2024, whenever a creature makes an attack, it's a concentration spell that lasts for up to a minute. And whenever a creature makes an attack roll against you, before the spell ends, the attacker subtracts 1d4 from the attack roll.
Oh, wow. So it's like an individual bane.
Yeah.
Love that.
And they've shortened the name to Blord.
Blord.
Lord.
Oh, Lord, help us. Lovely.
And in terms of the other 2 spells that I'm going to take, I don't know. I'm staring at this chunky list that I have. There are a few that I'm looking at that are definitely would be more like narrative, especially in terms of like what we're trying to do in terms of rallying a resistance. But then also I want to make sure I'm not caught in a lurch with no like offensive abilities. I mean, I'm pretty okay with offensive abilities, but I'm definitely, a lot of my spells are very roleplay schemery. So, I guess we'll see what happens in the moment.
Lovely. I think that's great. And obviously, too, you have spells that you'll be like adding to your spell book.
Yes.
So that can also happen narratively. Like you like adding new spells, reviewing spells, going to the Pentevral, studying more, researching your own magic. You know, wizards are fun in that they kind of do that in game.
Yeah.
But your ability to prepare more spells is a really exciting one. Which is going to make you a little bit more versatile. So that's great.
Exactly.
I love that.
Exactly.
Azune.
I have a lot of options.
Well, you are multi-class, so you're Paladin 1, Sorcerer 2.
Yep, Paladin 1, Sorcerer 2. One of the things that I know for sure is that I'm definitely leveling into Sorcerer.
Hell yeah.
Which means that I get to choose a subclass. And I thought beginning the campaign, I thought I was very crystal clear on which subclass I would take.
Yeah.
And then just recently I started to wonder if I might switch that up. So leave that open.
We'll leave that open. Cool.
And then, but I will get, I will finally get access to second level spells, because although I had second level spell slots, I didn't know any second level spells because of the multi-class dynamic. But now I do get more spell slots. I get another second level spell slot, and I finally get to learn second level spells.
Hell yeah.
And there's some really interesting ones.
Yeah.
Because I could do mirror image.
Ooh.
And make myself even that much more impossible to hit.
Yeah.
Always good.
Yeah, but I'm just kind of thinking, because there's so many choices, and trying to think of which ones help the schemer situation, which ones help me be more effective in combat, and I love the idea of having mirror images of myself that, if needed, can still cast shield. But it's, it's a lot of resources that get burned through really fast when you're multi-classing like this. That's for sure. That's kind of where I'm at. I'm still sort of sorting through some of those details. Not sure about mirror image, but it's pretty sexy.
It is mirror image.
Yeah.
Mirror image is very near and dear to my own heart because there are a lot of combats where mirror image is what makes the combat possible or interesting at all. Having something that can just negate some hits, especially when you're dealing with high level PCs, is sometimes one of the only things that because every hit you negate is like 40 damage or something. So one of those going away is huge. It gives you like one more round. I can think of multiple opponents that I've run with mirror image where it's like, if they didn't have mirror image, there are some people that would not have gotten a turn in this combat. By the time it would have got to them, it would have already been a wrap.
And I think narratively, that subclass is really, to me, that's what's going to choose it for me more than anything is what fits the most and what I think is happening with him, given where he's come from and where I think he might be heading.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at with this guy.
Gorgeous. Incredible. I love that. And what of Bolaire?
So, this was some thought. Since Bolaire, there is a notion, my notion for leveling up for something like this was, for a non-human character like this was, they had kind of switched themselves down to a 2 while life was chill, and now it's the, oh no, we're time to turn up the volume again, but it's not an immediate process. It's kind of the slow rebuilding of actually being quite as dangerous as they used to be.
Yeah.
So, trying to stay on theme and trying to let the appropriate power set sit in. I think that telepathy is an inevitable take. It's a detect thoughts. I was thinking about going all the way with it, but detect thoughts, I think, for a new spell is the way to go. Just to have a slightly more interesting toolkit, I think Mage Hand when it comes to a cantrip is because I like having I feel like you only need 1 or 2 damaging cantrips to function in a game like this, and everything else I just want to have a toolkit. So I've already got my fighting cantrip, so it's now I can touch things that are far away. That sounds sweeter than it is. Didn't mean for that to come out quite that way.
I love to touch things that are far away.
It's Mr. Fantastic.
I've got a kit for that, Jaffe.
Let me get my kit. And just to kind of just to have a few more options, I've been sitting on it, and I've decided that it might be really, really fun to become Metamagic Adept. Because you don't have a lot you can do magically with a warlock because you only have 2 spell slots, so it's just kind of use it or once it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
But metamagic, I mean, you can't get new spell slots by going metamagic adept like you could if you were, But I can choose 2 other effects, and I think those effects will be whatever seems useful in the moment. I'm going to lock in the 2 that makes sense.
I love it. A lot of really fun powers on the horizon, and a lot of secrecy, which makes a lot of sense for our schemy schemer table. More stuff to come up on the horizon. And I don't know about you, but I'm excited to get to playing. So I think with that, we're going to wrap up our level up video here. Oh, we have to roll hit points.
Oh, yes.
Gotta roll hit points. See,
Unless you just want to give us max.
Why do you guys want hit points? Wouldn't it be so exciting for someone to die? Let's go ahead.
We're giving you the opportunity to hit harder.
Yes, there you go.
I'm going to pitch you. I'm going to give you the option. I'm going to give you the option.
Oh, thank you.
You can let us roll in it. We could have a mix, or you could just give us max, but then you can dig in harder with your...
What?
No. Why is there No, stop.
No, I'm not on board.
You're just creating inflation. That's all this is.
Exactly.
$1 in your pocket don't matter if everything's $5 more expensive.
Yeah.
Deflation.
So, hit point inflation. Let's go ahead and roll. You can re-roll a 1.
Okay.
So everyone go ahead. Let's go ahead and roll. What do we get here for Hal?
I accidentally rolled it, but it's not awful, so I'm taking it.
Great.
It's a 5.
A 5, great.
5 out of 8.
5 out of 8. Adding your Constitution modifier.
So it's a 6.
So that means you will add 6 hit points to Hal, which will bring you from where to where.
I'm at 23. I'll go to 29.
Lovely.
Protect me.
Healthy.
Protect me.
Great.
All right, wizard. So I roll a d6 because I'm a wizard. That's a
Reroll.
1.
Reroll.
Reroll. That's
Cocked.
cocked.
Super cocked.
6.
Oh, hell yeah. And what do we add con modifier to that? So we
Okay.
add con modifier. What does that leave us at?
HP as a wizard too, don't you?
I'm a dwarf.
Yeah.
I'm a chunky girl.
We see it. We see it.
You know, I've got some beefiness to me. I don't skip leg day, so my con modifier is a +3, so that's going to be adding a 9. So I'm going to be at 39 hit points.
Wow!
Wizard, which is crazy.
I'll be behind the dwarf.
Yeah. Incredible. We love that.
Oh my god! So I never roll for HP. I always take whatever
the medium.
take the medium, and so this is like probably so stressful. But I'll play along with how y'all do it here.
Great. Here we go.
You got this.
It's a D6 for sorcerer.
Max it out.
5.
5. Okay.
I'm fucked.
A little bit of gambling.
So wow, that takes me. I was at 30.
Yeah.
I'm now at 38 with my 5+.
Hell yeah, the paladin has 1 less hit point than the wizard.
I know.
That's great.
So with this, I have 38.
38 HP. Very cool. Very, very cool. Bolaire.
To be fair,
Alright.
he is just a teacup.
I know. I'm a little teacup.
Stout.
So I'm gonna roll my d8 and see where I've got a +3 from Constitution, so that's a 9. That'll go up to 12. Which after everything is I rolled a 2. I knew I would. I knew I would. I knew I would.
Baby teacup.
Yep. I was like
heroic inspiration?
5, like 2. I was like, I knew it was like I'm gonna roll a 2. I knew I was. You, as the wizard, have more hit points than I do.
There you go. Wow. Well,
Dwarven
our
resilience.
wonderful ceramic friend is still less, is still not as dainty as our bard. So that's good.
That's all I need.
There you go.
I mean, I'm an actor. It's expected.
That's so funny. In descending order from most tough to least tough: wizard, paladin, clay mask, actor.
Just like real life.
Stunt man.
Mask actor.
Yeah.
We're the worst.
Incredible. So keep those numbers in mind for when your characters choose to level up. And without further ado, let's get into playing. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode of Critical Role.
Dun, 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 dun.